Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just 60k drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
Hopefully you'll see it. Got it? Okay. Have you done have you done
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Neil Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the Rollers take on the world.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just $60K drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match,
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just $60K drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers. Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 73k drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Neil Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the rollers take on the world.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just 60k drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Welcome to the AIS Centre of Excellence for game number 10 in the Rollers against the World Challenge. This game coming to you from Canberra, Australia, the home of the Australian Institute of Sport. On the slate coming up, we've got Spain against Japan. These two teams have already played once at this 4-team tournament. That was on Friday, where Japan did what most have been unable to do and turned over the Spanish 52-50 in a close encounter. My name's Brendan Parnell. I'm joined by Campbell Fraser, a gentleman who is a little more familiar with some of the intricacies of wheelchair basketball, having played the sport, being actively involved in the elite coaching pathways in Australia. Campbell, still early in the morning here, so good morning. What are you expecting? What different approaches might we see today from Japan and Spain, given that this will be their 5th game of the tournament?
Yeah, I'm really looking to see whether Japan look to change up a bit of the rotations that they've been putting on. We know that they don't put Ryo Fujimoto on too often. He's run a few minutes in every game, but really not running too consistently, as well as number 55 Kozai. He's a fantastic ball handler and really the point that the Japanese like to run. And I think that will be the way forward to really contest the size and the power that the Spanish have. The one thing that we did see out of the game that they've previously played is the Japanese ability to really control and refuse to engage in the pace that the Spanish try to set. The Spanish like to play fluid. They like to play kind of scrappy and in your face. and the Japanese refuse to engage on that level. They will always stay consistent in their way. Even when they were down at times, they managed to kind of keep that pace and just slowly build. So I think it'll be really on the Spanish to try to topple that control that the Japanese like to have.
We see our officials in the foreground, denoted there on the left, Helen Rosenberg, Ty Hodgins, Kathy Hay. Had a fleet of referees looking after the tournament. It's the third day of 5 days. There's 4 teams who will all be heading to Ottawa for the IWBF World Championships. And of note, Campbell, tomorrow the repechage tournaments start for the men and women. The last 4 positions at those World Championships up for grabs. The Australian women, the gliders, will be contesting the women's side of that tournament. 8 teams will be turned into 4 for qualification, last chance qualification for Ottawa.
Yeah, it'll be a difficult challenge for the Aussie girls, but I think they absolutely have a very good chance of making it through there. So I've seen a few posts and things of the girls away already, and clearly getting around their team. That's one of the best things that the gliders have going for them, is just their community, and their culture is really consistent. They've had a few changes over the past few years with players coming and going for various reasons. And that their ability to stay with that core group and really build off that and build off changes that they weren't expecting is something that will really help them here.
Yeah, their tournament taking place in Spain, in Guadalajara. There's a venue switch there, and the equivalent men's event being held in Thailand. But back to the business at hand. Both teams just going through their final stages of preparation. We've got the starting lineups for Spain. It will be Zarzuela on Rubia, who had such a fantastic scoring game the last time we saw him. Ortega, who managed to drop a 40 spot, as the kids like to say, 40 points on Australia earlier in the event. Prieto and Kristen. Well, for the Japanese, a slightly different starting lineup for them today. Furusawa, the youngster. Akashi, he'll be visible and notable for the headband and the absence of hair. Miyamoto, Murakami, and Akita. Bit of a last-minute roar from the respective huddles there. Japan in their red uniforms today. The white numbers. Spain in their white with the very faint gold numbers. Players exchange greetings. Say hello to the referees as well. Still fairly early in the morning here in Canberra. A minute before 10:30. But at World Championships, games will get underway as early as 9:45 a.m. in the morning in Ottawa. So this is really just a test of what's to come. Spain with the first possession. And Rubia, as he normally does, running the point guard role. He will more often than not look at that early 3. And comes up well short. Kashi gets it into Murakami. He flips it back to Akashi. To Furusawa. He's left wide open. Effortless release there. Shot has a look in. Bobbles out. On Rubia. Picked up by Akashi. Looks inside. Pass deflected by Murakami. And just go back to Ortega. To Prieto. Prieto, shot clock running down on Rubia, has to release that. Almost finds the bottom. Murakami off and rolling for Japan. He's left wide open. Thought he could make that. Prieto has a bit of a fumble. Ball back to Japan.
And I love this rotation that the Japanese have put on to start the game with Murakami and Nikita being extremely tall players and really contesting that power that the Spanish have on their defense. It's been notable already, their ability to really shut down those long passes that the Spanish like to throw across court and kind of switch up their offense.
Yeah. Well, the lineup might be one that pleases us. That possession won't be pleasing anyone from the Japan bench. It's a series of miscommunications, saw the ball bobble over the sideline. Bit of a traffic jam in the backcourt as players jostle to try and screen each other out. Prieto waits for the troops to arrive. Finds Zazuela, who gets the scoring underway with a flip off his hip. Furusawa to Murakami. Zazuela guarding him. Back to Furusawa. Drives middle. He moves so fluently. Furusawa. Murakami. It's the Japanese scoring underway. Rubia for Spain. Probes. Across Ortega. He had the scoring explosion the other day. And Rubia drives baseline, kicks to Prieto. His shot's good. Early stages, first quarter, game number 10. Rollers against the World Challenge, coming to you from Canberra, Australia. Murakami, 3, boom. Showing the power of such a tall player. Able to operate so smoothly on the perimeter. He cuts off Ortega. Ball skipped across to Rubia. He flips that shot up, it's short. Murakami. Zazuela just checking how many players are back defensively. He goes to pick up Murakami. Ball gets in the middle of the paint. Akita throws a no-look pass. Murakami cuts back door. Beautiful exchange of passing there. Murakami caught in a square of defenders there. Referee Rosenberg's identified a foul. Foul assist to Murakami, trying to work his way out of there. Almost seems unfair, but fantastic defensive positioning. Director. Comes the handoff with Rubio. Ball gets to Ortega. Takes half a roll backwards. Measures the shot expertly. We've got our first timeout. Well, the official thought we had a timeout. It's a full start. Players looked like they were keen for a chat. The benches were manoeuvring into position, but referee Hayes says nope, got nothing official. Furusawa to Akashi. Murakami. It's a bit of contact. Ortega had some foul trouble the other day. One of the few players to foul out in this tournament. It's one of the few ways they can stop him scoring. We are going to get that timeout now as Spain calls a halt. They trail 6-7. But really both teams looking okay at this early stage.
Yeah, both teams really looking pretty comfortable, especially the Japanese defense is looking fantastic. Their ability to move and really isolate shooters, especially forcing Ortega to be in pretty uncomfortable positions. That shot before that he was able to make was almost through hands, and certainly under a lot of pressure. That's one of the things I like about the Japanese defense is that they will put constant pressure on. They really don't don't calm down. They don't stay quiet. I imagine their recovery after a game is pretty intensive. And the Spanish, to be fair, the Spanish their offense as well, specifically is quite aggressive and quite fast paced. So it really brings to match that Japanese side.
Getting a look at the Spanish huddle there. Head coach Abraham Carrion. Plenty of chit chat going on. Murakami having a chat with one of the referees. Pulls in. Murakami has it. Akashi rushes up with the screen. Furusawa thinks about the perimeter shot for a second. Dribbles down. Ortega deflects it out of bounds. Short shot clock for the Japanese. Bit of hand signalling to demonstrate they're aware of that. Ball's deflected away again. Shot clock did go off, but referee Hay indicating she's determined there's 1 second to be put back on that clock. Of course, the shot clock a manual operation rather than anything like in tennis an automated line call, dependent on the operator. Kind of nerve-wracking job sometimes for those that aren't experienced. Catch and shoot. Kurosawa. The big bare hand of Prieto is there, and that shot is harmlessly short. First encounter between these two teams was low scoring, 52-50. No particular reason for that, probably just the efficiency with which they both operate defensively. Forcing teams to take a little more time off the clock and denying transition is a key tenet of both operations. Murakami gets a screen from Furusawa. Holding foul detected on Spain. Just their second foul for the first quarter. Japan inbounds halfway through the first quarter. Game number 10 coming to you from the AIS Centre of Excellence in Canberra. Prieto again. Gives his opponent Akita a friendly pat on the back. Not sure he was totally convinced that he'd fouled there. Which player ever is.
I think that's one of the key things that the Japanese are very good at, especially against the Spanish side, is kind of drawing them into contact and really selling that contact and making it very clear.
Meanwhile, Murakami goes boom after doing a whirling dervish. I think it was a 720 on the spot. Defender kept going. He wheeled back. Fantastic chair alacrity there. Maneuverability. Spain answers from mid-range. Must be quite the skill camp to be able to turn on a, as the Americans say, turn on a dime and then whiz back again. He's at it again. Right, left, goes middle, accentuates some contact that may not have been there. There is some contact there. It's Ortega. He waves a hand, but that'll be his second personal foul. Maybe his Achilles heel.
I think from where I'm sitting, that was a pretty obvious foul. That there was a hand that came pretty strong across the arm. I think they were potentially thinking that there was contact before that, and Ortega actually being the one to collect that, so he'll be pretty unhappy with that early on.
Murakami with the razzle-dazzle. Gets it back from Akita. He's putting his best nomination in for the Magician Award. Giaretti's got a firm hold on that at the moment. Giaretti from Italy. But Murakami showing us some of his tricks this morning. Ball skips across. And Rubia. Kristen left on the Manenevua one. He gives that piece of dynamite back to Onrubia as the shot clock's expiring.
That's an unfortunate little situation that Onrubia couldn't quite collect that pass. It was actually a really smart play. They had successfully really pulled that defense away from him. But the pass just came a little bit low, and there's due to his disability and especially his hands, he struggled to pick that up.
Murakami, all sorts of tricks there. I don't know if the first one was a trick. He threw the ball, an attempted pass to Furusawa, but it came straight off the axle of Furusawa's chair, right across the floor and bounced straight back to Murakami, who just continued on his way. I don't think he could do that if he tried. Shot clock running down. Murakami's going to give that to somebody across the floor. Akita, that won't go. And Rubia. Picked up by Akashi. Skips across. Ortega playing with the 2 fouls at the moment. Gets a fantastic pass inside to Zazuela, who goes reverse. Akashi. A couple of minutes remaining, first quarter. Two of the leading teams in the world, Japan and Spain. So we see an offensive foul. Akita fouled, and now his chair's jammed up. Struggling to get out, and Rubio won't wait for him. He'll just inbound. Prieto for Spain. And Rubio comes to get it off him. He's left open for second. Hesitates. Goes baseline. Prieto provided the screen. And Rubio provided the finish. And with that, we're going to see a Japanese timeout. 12 all, first quarter. Back and forth we go.
It's that 45 shot that's that 45 on the move is quite common in wheelchair basketball, especially for the point guards to run as they're getting kind of nothing inside. They'll dig to one side, especially that weak side, and just look to hit that kind of cross body shot. It's one that looks kind of unconventional, looks a little bit uncomfortable as you're moving away from the basket essentially, but really creates that dynamic that works well with the chair and across the body.
The camera focuses in on the Japanese huddle. Both huddles looking pretty calm. Nothing really of note statistically to this point. Probably just that Ortega is from Spain. They're a preeminent scorer at this tournament for the team. Has picked up a second foul. Be interesting to see if he stays on the floor for these last 2.5 minutes of the first quarter out of that timeout.
I think the one thing to be noting on the Japanese side, the 12 points that Japan has collected, all Murakami. He's the single scorer for the team so far. He's absolutely dominant, and that's not a discredit to anyone else on the team, but he is absolutely showing his power.
He's certainly been delving into his bag of tricks. That man goes middle. Akita drives and banks and addresses that anomaly. Comes up with his first 2 points. Ortega has stayed on the floor with the 2 fouls. Maybe Spain looking to experiment. No look pass there from Zazuela. I think that almost surprised Ortega. Defender certainly didn't see it. Ortega banked it home. 14 all. Furukawa. Murakami. Akita gives the head fake to the three-point shot. Takashi being used primarily as a screener in this rotation. Furukawa opens his scoring account. Rieto with a two-handed sideways shot. Takashi, Kurosawa. Murakami, back to Furusawa. Akashi finds a shot he likes. Very long two. Nails it. Onrubia picked up Furusawa with the active hands. Not quite get it away from Onrubia, but he does cause him all sorts of issues. Forces a pass inside. Ortega just too tall. With that fumble, Japan can pretty much run this 24-second shot clock out up to quarter time. Murakami, Kurosawa, cuts. The lane was open. Kurosawa couldn't reel it in. Murakami's pass just a little too far out in front of him. Lane with one last opportunity. Ortega looks at three. Almost there. But quite fittingly, it's another arm wrestle between Spain and Japan, tied at 18 as we head to the quarter-time break, and we'll be back shortly.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Welcome back to the AIS Centre of Excellence for quarter number 2. It's Basketball Australia's Rollers against the World Challenge, brought to you in conjunction with Wheelchair Basketball Australia. The hosts of the organisers, the managers of the men's and women's national wheelchair basketball leagues. The men's league will get underway this Friday in Australia. So no rest for all the players in the Australian team. The referee's just checking timing issue with the bench. It's Japan 18, Spain 18. Japan in the red uniforms. Spain in their white strip. I think there might be some confusion about the possession arrow. You can see the arrow on the score table there, which normally designates the alternate possession. Which team is to receive the next possession? It's left at the to the responsibility of the score table. Referee Rosenberg. Just having a chat with one of the Japanese players, Hiroki Kozai. Maybe they're checking whether he came through the bench, a substitution, or whether he's on the... Maybe that's it. Whether there's been an error in transferring the team list from the score sheet to the statistics. Any other clues, Campbell?
My only other guess, I think that is right. I think it's just an issue with the substitution, but my only other guess would have been classification. Potentially looking at whether the Japanese have been put over points. I don't think they would. I think they know their rotations quite well. But that is a common issue in the game of wheelchair basketball.
First 14, the point limit. Up to coaches to configure that amongst their available players each time onto the court. And look who's snuck onto the floor. Fujimoto, talisman of the Japanese team. Only played 6 minutes in the previous game between these two sides, but appears out of that quarter-time break. He comes up shooting, no surprise. He's got such a smooth release. He'll probably put in a nomination himself for the Magician Award at some stage. He's a master of fakes and feints. Kozai drives middle, finds Fujimoto. Drives cut off, 3 defenders on him. Manages to kick the pass, shots off. Japanese scrambling in transition defense. But they can't cover that. They were so intent on defending the paint. They left a wide open shot. And that was Cabo making that shot. He's just come onto the floor as well.
I like Fujimoto just checking that the player was okay as they go down. He's a big guy. He's quite intimidating, but he is absolutely lovely. He's very friendly. He's very much the gentle giant.
That's him with the ball. He snapped it across now. It's with Kozai. He looks at 3. Good.
That's an uncharacteristically short 3 for Kozai. Not that he'll hit every 3 that he takes, but they're often not that short.
See him checking his hand as he rolled back down the floor there. I think he mightn't have quite got the grip on that, and he was aware, but released the shot anyway. Sometimes the seam's not in alignment. A familiar feel for shooters. It's a luxury here. Ruiz on the floor as well, one of the giants of the Spanish game. Pretty close to both teams' A-grade lineups. Kozai pushes ahead. Goes the double hand, underhand, scoop roll. It's good. Ball inside. That one misses. Bazuela shaking his head ruefully as they come back down the court. Kozai. A little bit of a window for 3 there. He thinks about it. Does a spin. Back to Akashi, back to Kozai. Is Kozai looking? Just. He turned his head for an instant. Akashi presumed that he'd still be there. Kozai drives middle, goes left hand. Sweeping finger roll now. Can't get that to go. Ruiz heading the other way for Spain. Fearsome sight. Kozai sort of accidentally gets in front of him. Fujimoto ready to help. 2 big guns almost face off. Ruiz's shot is short. Fujimoto. Exquisite bounce pass. Exit. Akashi wheels around. Shot's good. And by 2, Ruiz inside, blocked. Can't believe it. Lovely pass. But it was, of course, Fujimoto, one of the few with the reach to be able to block a Ruiz shot. Ruiz with the ball. A couple of defenders. Looks, can't get it to go. Akashi snabbles the rebound. He's off. He's got Kozai with him running the middle lane. Fujimoto appearing. Got a strategic transition stopping foul there. And Garcia and Gelmo.
I think he saw Fujimoto coming flying in and knew he'd overextended his defense just a little bit and not wanting to give Rio those shots inside.
Shots up and off, Fujimoto. Zazuela pushing. Somebody will pick him up in a minute, surely. Runs a little handoff with Cabo. Lavandera gets it across. Gets it back at the free throw line. Head fake, lets the defender sail by. Cleverly. Fujimoto, the rebound. Ball outlets to Akashi. Garcia and Gelmo picks him up. Kozai. A little bit of a whirling dervish. Gets to the middle. Exchange of passes. Fujimoto draws the contact. Not unseen there. Lovely touch pass from Marioma. Fujimoto misses. It was one of those attempts that's going to go in 9 times out of 10. It sat on the rim. Beautiful and soft. Second one straight in. Garcia and Gelmo looking for Ruiz there. Foul.
I think that's one of those fouls that the Japanese will look to draw as soon as Rio Fujimoto can't get onto Ruiz as he goes for that drive. They really just want to shut it down. He's obviously the one that they want to have defending Ruiz, and if he's not able to get there, they will just kind of push in and make that contact.
Cabo at the free throw line. Can't get it to go. Japanese almost daring him to shoot that one. Concentration on Ruiz. Akashi. Kozai. Fujimoto. A little hip wobble. Kozai. Almost got enough space to look at 3 there. He does. Can't get it to go. Garcia and Gelmo, the rebound. Looks to push. Very compressed defense from Japan. Ruiz flashes, can't get it to go. Fujimoto, rebound. This little touch pass from Miyamoto, almost unseen in the backcourt. And there's a transition foul. Both teams extraordinarily adept at stopping a transition.
I think that's the benefit that both of these teams have really against each other, and why it's so close is they both like to play that transition and like to play it different styles, but both like to play the transition, and both really adapt at diffusing that speed and that control that that layup create.
Mariyama nails the long 2 on the skip pass. Garcia and Gelmo. Wheels around. Ruiz cuts middle before he can shoot it. There's a foul. Spanish coach. Carry on. Pleading. Let's get the hands out. Referee Hay has listened as much as she's going to. Just getting on with business now. Gave him a chance to state his case, but not to state it 3 or 4 times. Garcia and Gelmo to Ruiz. Drives baseline. Before Miyamoto can get there, Ruiz knocks it down. Japan by 3. A touch over 3 minutes remaining, second quarter, game 10. And the Rollers against the World Challenge, featuring Spain, Japan, Australia and Italy. And a plethora of games. Preparation for the World Championships coming up in Ottawa, Canada. September ball with Ruiz. He rolls back ever so slightly. Can't get that shot to go. Fujimoto's held up at halfway with a jam screen. Kashi left alone, looks at it, can't get it to go. Garcia and Gelmo finds the cutting Zazuela. He finishes. And Japan want to have a chat about things. They'll call a timeout. They lead by 1. They'd snuck away there just a couple of minutes ago. Spain managed to find some points in transition, which is unusual against the Japanese team.
Yeah, I think their transition, but also their ability to slow down their offense. Spanish, we know, like to play that transition, and when they run that transition, they play it fast. But they've actually had a couple offensive styles that they've run a little bit slower, kind of goading the defense to kind of get a little bit bored, kind of play up a little bit, and then seeing that cutter inside. We've seen a few cutters come in along that baseline and get those inside shots purely because the Japanese, again, whether or not it's a conscious boredom, but it is when nothing's kind of happening in front of you and you're against a team that you know runs pace and runs your energy and puts your adrenaline up. You want to fight. You want to be involved. And knowing that they're slowly losing that point advantage that they were at, potentially just wanting to get a little steal, get a little fast break, and getting the better of them.
Remarkably clean game today. Just 12 total fouls between the two teams and only 2 free throws. So
that must be what both teams are really focusing on. That's something the Spanish really focus on, is utilizing their fouls, not being scared to use their fouls, but utilizing them well. And I imagine the Japanese really aren't giving them options to utilize them in a way that's going to be beneficial.
Yeah, certainly also indicative of the quality of the two teams. We are watching world-class action here. Kozai tries baseline. Gives a couple of fakes. Akashi managed to get there just before Cabo. Cabo raises his hand, acknowledging that he has committed the blocking foul, but we will see some free throws as a result of that because the Spanish are now over the limit. The limit being 5 fouls at the 5th foul and any subsequent fouls in any quarter. Once the team commits that 5th foul, the other team gets 2 free throws. Kashi gets a hand slap, a back slap, and a thumbs up from Takamatsu. Makes them both. Garcia and Gelmo looks for the easy offense. Pass straight down the pipe to Zazuela. Just a little too tall. Kozai goes around, kicks it back. Matsuyama, he's been a reliable second or third outlet. Garcia and Gelmo. Drives middle. Change of passing. Cabo to Ruiz. He finishes comfortably. A little over a minute remaining. First quarter, Kozo will have to take that. Left wide open, a little bit of contact after the shot, nothing called. Cabo the rebound. They have got a blocking foul in the back court. That's Japan's third for this quarter. Some timeouts still available. Each team getting 2 in the first half and 3 in the second half. The Japanese decide they'll use another one of theirs. As the cameras pan in on Spanish huddle. Head coach Abraham Carrion. The support staff standing behind him. Diagram something. It's a very small whiteboard, Campbell, for players to see. I often wonder why there isn't something a little larger.
It's a very small whiteboard and a lot of things being written there, and written at quite the pace. You can see where the team gets their pace from, and clearly they're taught that very consistently. So I imagine it's a tactic of the Spanish huddle: get a lot of things through and get a lot of things said, and hope that something sticks.
Yeah, I think there's a whole school of scientific research about absorption of messaging delivered in short periods with multiple messages, and I'll leave that stuff to the psychologists, but it certainly impacts coaching. We tick under a minute remaining. Garcia and Gelmo calling out a play. Uses the Lavandera screen. Kicks across to Ruiz. He's got the Zazuela screen. Meanwhile, Garcia and Gelmo, after having given up the ball, just cut straight down the lane. It's the layup. Kashi probing. Matsu's pass went astray. Good hands from Lavandera, poking that away. Garcia and Gelmo down the middle. Japanese defense a little out of sorts, but there's an offensive foul.
Again, I think it's that Japanese defensive side, the ability to really control how they receive contact and being very aware of the contact coming in and kind of changing position right at the last second. It really pulls the Spanish into contact that they're not expecting.
Give Hammer the chance to take the last shot here. Akashi does. He made the shot, but after some, I don't know if it was after some lobbying, but Garcia and Gelmo was adamant there'd been an offensive foul prior to that shot. And referee Rosenberg agreed. Surely lobbying doesn't work, Campbell. We saw the Spanish push to withhold that thought for a second. Chance for the last shot of the quarter. Garcia and Gelmo gives a bit of a body shimmy. Gets a couple of screen drives baseline, feels some contact. And there's another offensive foul. Garcia and Gelmo is a little bemused, but he didn't push his case any further this time.
I think he knew that if his teammate hadn't set that up, there was absolutely a foul coming in from the Japanese defense. But I think that contact was also a little bit forced by the offensive foul that came in.
Akashi does the let's go to a corner and head to half-time. No interest in pushing ahead for those couple of seconds. And we will head to a break as well, with Spain leading Japan 32-31.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just $60K drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
I was really lucky to cross paths with wheelchair basketball when I was 15 years old. I fell in love with the sport.
I was doing horse riding and I wanted to play a team sport, and my mum came across wheelchair basketball and I just grew to love it. My muscles have grown stronger, so I'm able to do a lot more things now because of basketball. Yeah, it just helped me a lot in life. I would love to play at the Brisbane 2032 Paralympics and represent the country.
I wasn't 21 until I made my first Australian team, so you've got plenty of time. The most important thing is that you just enjoy your basketball.
By rolling out the start line, we want to build a framework where anyone that wants to become involved in parasport can find and navigate their way through to the opportunity that's local, that suits their needs.
Parasport's the best. You meet people that are just like you.
Times can be really tough. You're going to have some really frustrating days. It's okay to ask for help, but I promise you things do get better, and Paralympic sport can play a huge role in that.
Have a go. When we move out of our comfort zone, we surprise ourselves.
Not in my wildest dreams did I imagine that direction my life has taken, and I'm extremely thankful for it.
Just try it. You'll just grow to love it, and you could probably play for your country.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Neil Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the rollers take on the world.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just $73K drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Welcome to this very special occasion, a celebration of the 2000 Australian Paralympic team.
It's so great just for everyone to come together and reminisce, and it's like a massive reunion.
To be here with everyone's just so special. It makes me almost cry with joy.
So wonderful to be back here after 25 years. So many people that got to share such unforgettable memories because it was the first time we had the Paralympic Games in Australia.
We all have a bond that can't be broken because we all experience something that is a part of our lives.
All of what we're here for, we have to develop the athletes, the kids with disabilities, to believe that they can achieve.
Sydney 2000 showed that the Paralympic Games can be as good as a host city chooses to make them. It filled stadiums, it filled arenas. It set the benchmark for the athlete experience.
Sydney 2000 changed everything. Let's just take the Paralympic movement to a place where it had never been before.
People with disabilities can, and I think Sydney said to us, we can.
Australia changed the face of Paralympic sport forever, and I couldn't be prouder.
My favourite memory from the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games was actually carrying the torch into the stadium for the opening ceremony of the Games. Before I was about to carry the torch, there was going to be 2.2 billion television viewers.
The advice to the athletes is seize all the opportunity you have. The athletes that assembled here today are an example of the hard work and the legacy that can be left by a group that's come well before you. The best way that you can honour, respect and thank the past is to make sure you take care of the future by working hard and embracing every opportunity that you have at the moment.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Welcome back to the AIS Centre of Excellence in Canberra, Australia. For the second half of this clash between Spain and Japan. Second time these two teams have faced off in this tournament already. Get an opportunity now to look at some of the highlights of the first half. A first half that's notable, Campbell, for being just back and forth, hotly contested, and the fact there's only a 1 point difference in the scores is entirely appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. These two teams are incredibly well matched, both in just in scoring ability, but also in style and the way that they diffuse each other's really control their offensive sprees. Yeah, the Japanese team doing extremely well to spread their scoring across quite a few players. They originally had, I think, a 12-point run that Murakami put on himself, and has taken a break for a little bit now, and potentially that will change coming into the second half. And the Spanish have struggled to find scoring in their usual scorers. Ortega having a little bit of a quieter game, but obviously the powerhouse that is Zarzuela, who's been a mainstay of the Spanish team for years. He's showing no signs of letting up and staying consistent in that, as well as Gussie and Gelma being extremely valuable, not necessarily in terms of scoring, but his playmaking and also his defensive side has been extremely strong.
To see some of the statistics and a really fascinating way to look at it. Spain with the 16 2-point attempts, or 2-point makes, comprising their entire scoring. Japan, the 12 2-point makes. They've also made 2 threes and managed to get themselves to the free throw line a couple of times and eke out 3 points. So it's refreshing sometimes not to look at the percentages, just to look at the raw numbers. As play gets underway, Vega for Spain with the ball. First minutes for him tonight. Well, this morning, should I say, this morning Australian time. Maybe night time where you're watching, as Ortega misses that first shot. For Spain, it's Japan in the red uniforms with the white numbers. Spain in the familiar alternate strip for them of the white with the gold numbers. First Japanese shots off as well. Ortega inside, makes the layup, appeals to anybody, but he's been fouled. Kita pushes ahead. Kurosawa, left alone. Smoothly, everything that he does on the court is so smooth. Vega for Spain. Ortega takes a little bit of a tumble on the other side of the floor, but gets himself up, gets the ball, and makes the bank shot. Ortega responsible for the highest individual score at the tournament thus far. 40 points he piled on against Australia. Murakami drives, dips. I'm not sure if Furusawa saw that pass coming, whether he thought it might have been destined for Akita.
I think he was expecting Akita to pick it up, and potentially it just went a little bit too long for him. Kind of didn't find that middle spot between both.
Vega again for Spain. Plenty of contact there. Garcia and Gelmo almost flipped out of his chair. Such a strategic contest where the teams know each other so well. The referees have had their work cut out, officiating what contact's legal and what's not.
I think that was actually quite lucky. There was contact that came in from the side as Ingelmo was coming in, but if that hadn't come in, I think he was coming in with a little too much speed and might have collected a charge there. So quite a lucky little way of protecting and potentially just slowing down enough that the defense would kind of slip up.
Vega with the ball for Spain. Almost dared to shoot. Akashi comes to him now. Ball skips down to the baseline. It shots off. Akashi scrambles back for the rebound. Murakami off and running with Akita as a running mate. Vega manages to veer him out. Mariyama. It's been really neat and required with the shooting. He's up to 6 points now. Vega. Let's get across, gets it back, looks at his own shot. Murakami. Pushes transitions, left wide open at 3. Got to catch a break there. Vega, cut off by 2 defenders. Vega. Ball skips across. Ortega. Looks at 3. Can't get it to go. Kita scrambles to get the rebound. Pan off and running. Kashi puts a jam screen in the backcourt to limit 1 defender. Mariyama. Kita. Really left the Magician with a lot to do there. Well, the Magician nominee, Murakami, he flicked it back, but only Spanish bodies there, and Lavandera takes it all the way.
It's been a rare few mistakes from the Japanese on the offensive side. Their passes being a little bit wayward. It's not something that they usually are lacking. Potentially just a few miscommunications as they're playing a younger squad at the moment. and not relying on those really veteran players.
Lavandera is with the active hands. Low point player, but certainly doesn't limit his effectiveness. Just 6 seconds here. Shot clock. Japanese hopefully be aware of that. Ball skips down the other side. Kawahara gets left with a grenade. Was Mariyama getting thrown that shot clock expiring pass. He's now in a bit of a jam. As the chairs disperse. Referees Rosenberg with the ball and Hay assisting, who's just wandered away. Get things organised. Japan will keep the ball here. Akashi. Kita thinks about a 3. Mariyama does the same, kicks it on. Back to Akita, baseline, something a little more in his range. Ortega the rebound. There's an offensive foul. And expertly positioned there on transition defense. Well, in fact, I thought from the initial signal from referee Hay that was an offensive foul, but a blocking foul has been confirmed. Spain will retain the ball. Ortega takes the air out of it a little bit, finds Vega. Dared to shoot the long 2, he does, and cans it.
I like that decision from the Spanish offense to just slow down a little bit. They're getting ahead and kind of pushing quite strong, and potentially just looking to slow it back down, get that score really extended out, and not give the Japanese an option to look for those fast breaks again.
Murakami probably couldn't believe how much space he had there. He somehow missed the layup. Lavandera, back to Ortega. Shots off. Akita, the rebound. Murakami. Drives baseline, the Akashi screen. Ball skips out. Overhead pass. Finds its way to Mariyama. Shots off this time. Garcia and Gelmo. The rebound for Spain. Zazuela. Picked up by Murakami. Garcia and Gelmo expertly manoeuvres his chair to catch some contact and launch a hopeful shot, which goes awry, but he will have 2 free throws. And Japan want to have a chat about things. Third quarter probably not going to their liking. They trail by 5.
Yeah, I think the Japanese just getting a little bit lost in their offense. Obviously, resting Kozo wasn't on, and Fujimoto wasn't on either, and potentially that just being a little bit unsettling for them. Not that they can't, not that the young guys certainly can't find their way, but it does help to have that kind of helm. It's the same thing that the Spanish saw when Ortega was off in previous games. You see teams just struggle a little bit to adapt to losing or not running a certain player. Not that player is the make or break, but it's that adaptation to a change in roster.
We certainly saw that this morning from Australia with Noah Neil-Thorne and a mixture of lineups that Brad Ness was wandering through very deliberately. It's the nature of this and the beauty of this event that if you were just playing at World Championships, some of the fringe players wouldn't get an opportunity at this level to push their claims for selection and to demonstrate some of the things that they may be able to do, where their role in a club team may be distinctly different from what they're required to do in a national team setup. Garcia and Gelmo makes the first. It's the plaudits of his team. Might be a little bit of a press coming up here as Lavandera wanders out of the free throw lane for the second free throw. No, Spain happy to retreat back defensively. Akashi for Japan. Skip pass across Kozai, touch pass back to Akashi. Kozai weaves in and out. Shot clock, someone's going to get a grenade here. And it's going to be somebody in the crowd. That pass just sailed past Kozai. I'm wondering if Fujimoto might make an appearance just to stabilise things offensively.
I think if I was on the side of the Japanese, that's the change I'd be looking to make. The high point is for the Japanese just going a little bit cold here, potentially needing a shift up.
Zazuela de Lavandera. Some contact inside. You can see in the Japanese body language, they're just a little out of sorts. It's an important part of any game. They team to try and calibrate on the run. Find some of the things that they're comfortable doing, get them done. Ortega, shot clock running down. Hoist to the other side of the floor. Shots off, Kozai, lovely overhead outlet pass, 2-on-1 break. Akashi goes finger roll, makes it.
That was a real credit to the defensive side of the Japanese, that triple switch coming in, I think, 3 times before the Spanish realized that they had to swing it. But the Japanese were a little too on top of it and just kind of wasting their offense and turning it over.
And we have a little time, Campbell. I'll get you to explain the triple switch. It'll be hard for most people to see as we see Ortega convert inside. Kozai, hook pass across. Back to Akashi, back to Kozai. His pass is deflected. Ortega with the steal. He's racing coast to coast. Makes the layup. Japanese unable to find any shots for Takamatsu, who's been quite potent. He has the ball now on the elbow. Kozai drives middle. Maybe this will get Takamatsu going. He's fouled in the act of shooting. First one's off. He looks a little frustrated. Can't make the second. Garcia and Gelmo. The easy rebound. He pushes. Kozai eventually comes to cut him off. Ball middle. Zazuela's pass is poked away. But Ortega in the paint. Made the layup. Having an extended discussion. Almost a steal there for Garcia and Gelmo. Just careened off his chair. A little under 2 minutes remaining, third quarter. And a perplexing third quarter for the Japanese. Akashi, Kozai. Shot that he's comfortable with, he can't make. Lavandiera, the rebound. Ortega, content to take his time. Ortega on the baseline. Back to Vega. Calmly nails it from the 2-point line at the free throw line. Kozai forces one up quickly. Gets it to go. Maruyama out of his chair, quickly back up. Ortega looking completely relaxed. No particular hurry. Drives middle. Lavandera can't get that layup to go off the underside of the backboard. 2-on-1 break. 3-on-1. Finished by Maruyama.
That was really nice from Kawahara. He looked like he had the line there and actually pointed just behind him, knowing that he was going to get covered, sitting pretty low in his chair. But Maruyama just being right behind him and ready to take that shot. It's a beautiful little seal.
Ortega running this right down. It's Vega again. He's been a pleasant surprise offensively for the Spanish team. Haven't seen a whole lot of him in the previous 4 games. Again, one of the younger players. Japan with just a couple of seconds, and Akashi's happy to hand the ball back to the officials. So it was all Spain in that third quarter. They lead 50-41, and we'll be back after a break.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Hey everyone, I'm Tommy Neil Thorne. Tune in this weekend as the Rollers take on the world.
Welcome back to the AIS Centre of Excellence here in Canberra, pretty close to the east coast of Australia. For the second of this morning's games, or morning time here between Japan and Spain. 3 quarters done, and it was a peculiar third quarter from Japan. We haven't seen them really lose their compass very often. At all, really, in the previous 4 games, but they certainly did so in that third quarter, Campbell.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it's a real credit to the Spanish finally being able to break a little bit of that mentality of the Japanese. Not particularly getting aggressive, but just looking a little bit lost, a little bit miscommunicating. They've had a couple passes that went pretty wayward. They're still shooting at 50%, the Japanese, so doing extremely well when they are converting and communicating well, but a few turnovers that really weren't required.
So the Japanese sitting on 10 turnovers, just 5 in that category for Spain, and half of those for Japan were leaked in that third quarter. So We see the Japanese fail to score first time down the floor and then commit a foul in transition. Vilas gives his arm a shake. He was the player fouled who took a tumble out of his chair. Vega to Ortega. Little hook pass. Just another exchange of passing. Lavandera just can't get it to go. It's almost trapped under the rim. A little bit of contact in the backcourt. A technical foul's been assessed. In fact, an unsportsmanlike foul. Didn't think there was anything technical that happened there. The bench just confirming for us that unsportsmanlike contact to deny transition. Mariyama makes both the free throws and Japan will retain possession of the ball.
I was thinking the only thing that might have happened there in terms of a technical might have been on the bench, but it was actually in front of the Japanese bench, so I can't imagine that there was anything too bad there. And potentially just some contact off ball, just getting a little bit in each other's face.
Kashi. Shot short. Vilas. Wheels around. Back to Garcia and Gelmo. Ortega. Nice Garcia and Gelmo. Another fantastic exchange of passing finishes with Vilas. His layup's good. Spanish continue to pick apart the Japanese half-court defense. Nakami. Kozai. He's got the all-offense lineup on the floor. Here's an extreme baseball pass. Ortega gives the signal of appreciation as he catches right under the rim and makes a layup. Kashi, Murakami. Some contact there. Foul on Spain.
I love that long pass from Spain. You often have younger players and newer players to the sport wondering why in training you often do a lot of passing drills and getting those consistent. And that right there is exactly why you get those open opportunities and you need to convert on those.
It's a pass any American football quarterback would be happy with. As Murakami appeals, there was a foul called. It was an offensive foul. Murakami was hoping the basket might count despite the foul, but it's been waved off. Vega with the ball for Spain. They lead by 11. Back to Ortega, who's looked a picture of calmness, leading this mixed lineup, or an unusual lineup. Garcia and Gelmo. Calmly leans into a three and goes boom. Spain can do no wrong at the moment. Kashi wheels the other way, cut off, finds Kozai, goes to the left hand, draws contact and finishes. Japan desperately needed something. Maybe that can spark a run.
And that's very much what the Japanese are more likely trying to emulate. Is Kozai getting that run and drawing into that contact. So might start coming in a little bit too late at this point. They're in a little bit of a deficit, but that's exactly how they like to play, how he likes to play, and really goading that defense into making that contact.
Can't make the third part of the three-point play, the third point. Ortega goes all the way. throws a beautiful pass to Villas. Japan want to talk about it again. Really, there's no excuse for that. Missing a free throw and then the ball skates down the middle of the floor and one pass layup. Maybe it's the fifth game, third day. Fatigue starting to bite a fraction.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of the fatigue kicking in. I think it's also the Spanish really learnt their lesson from the previous game that they played against Japan. I think they understood the mistakes that they made and the mistakes that they weren't capitalizing on that the Japanese made, and they're really capitalizing on now with those little passes that have gone awry a little bit. They're kind of lax in a little bit of defense from the fast breaks, as the Spanish are really playing fast break, not fast break, fast break, not fast break, and just confusing the Japanese a little bit. I think they're trying to get into a rhythm that the Spanish are just refusing to set, and potentially that's the Spanish taking that note from the Japanese style of play that refuses to kind of engage with what the other team wants to do.
At the moment, Spain, Ortega's doing pretty much what he likes. Not really overly forcing shots, but distributing the ball like Magic Johnson. Kozai launches a three. That's off. Villas, the rebound, long outlet. Ortega finds contact. Murakami, just not quite there in time, or having his chair at the right angle. Bit of a chair lock up here, not unusual. Ball inbounded by Ortega. Garcia and Gelmo. Wheels around, looks at another three. Everything but go down. The rebound, Kawahara. Murakami. Hit pass, Kozai. Can't get it to go. Villas, the rebound. He kicks ahead. Garcia and Gelmo. Makes an easy layup with Lavandera screening out the only available defender. Murakami, Kozai, Wheels. And switch go under the last time, and Kozai goes boom. Bit of a subdued boom at this stage, the deficit they face. Villas, fleet of players in the backcourt. Villas makes his way around. Garcia and Gelmo gives him a signal to head that way. Ortega had that, missed the layup, but the officials have found something. In fact, it's a technical foul.
I think he just snuck outside the sideline there. They had been warned about that very, very early in the game, to not let your wheel go over, and potentially just that little slip.
And that would be gaining an advantage, Campbell, by going outside the court. Yep, makes perfect sense.
I think they'll tend to call it when it's gaining an advantage. Technically, even if it's not to an advantage, you can't go, you can't leave and come back in a different position to what you did. You have to come back where you left. They're a little bit nice on that with things like if you go in for a layup and miss the layup, but snake underneath the basket, you tend to be allowed into that as long as it's not putting you into too much of an advantageous position.
Exciting times too, Campbell. We're on triple-double watch for Garcia and Gelmo. He's sitting on 11 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists at the moment. Jack of all trades. Garcia Kiers for that rebound. Vega uses the Lavandiera screen. Almost a touch pass there. Could have been an assist. Behind the back over the head shot from Vilas. His nomination for the Magician Award. Doesn't get it to go. Kozai draws some contact from the aforementioned Vilas. Spanish coach Carrion has roamed deep into his bench at the moment. But the lineup he has on the floor doing quite a serviceable job to maintain this lead. Kozai short on the second. Garcia Kiers with the rebound. Mariyama the foul. It's the fourth team foul for Japan, so both teams in the bonus now. Pretty early, still almost 5 minutes remaining. Vilas for Spain. Gets a few screens, gets left alone. But calmly nails the free throw shot.
I think that's a little bit showing of the Japanese defense just getting a little bit tired, potentially a little bit annoyed with how the scoreline's going at the moment, and really just leaving that free throw line very, very open. There wasn't really even a closeout.
Koki Mariyama just popped out of his chair there, a bit of contact. Officials halt play. Just checking him out. He's back. Ball inbounded, Murakami. Kozai comes up shooting. Yeah, as he has all day, just not as on song as we've seen him. There's some contact in the shuffle for advantage. The Spanish, even though they had the ball, have given away a foul. Because it's an offensive foul, there'll be no free throws to result. Murakami, nice baseline, whips the ball across his body. Change direction, uses the Akashi screen to Kozai. Mariyama. Murakami, little head fake and reposition. Vega sprints ahead. Gets the ball to Lavandera. Layup's good. Murakami, Kozai. Can't get it to go. Another rebound. For Garcia and Gelmo. It's number 8 for him in that category. He's flirting with the triple-double. He has the ball now. Can he throw a dime? No, some contact. Illegal. Screening work again from Spain.
The Spanish really getting in a little bit of a confusing run of plays here. They got a couple really clean runs, especially with their low pointers getting great advantage, with the Japanese kind of jumping the highs and the shooters that they were putting on. But then just having a few a little aggressive fouls and potentially unnecessary fouls, knowing that they've got the advantage here, obviously, but potentially just needing to bring that back in a little bit and finish strong.
Possibly due to the lineup construction at the moment, Coach Carry-On is happy to give some of his more fringe players plenty of time here in this 5th game for them. You can be assured that Ruiz is not coming back on the floor. He's got his ski parker on. Red ski parker. He's definitely done for the day. It is sort of
to stay warm.
It is sort of heated here in the AIS Centre of Excellence, but he's probably well aware of how cold it is outside. Murakami hands it off to Akashi. Kozai. A bit of a blur screen from Akashi. Kozai kicks it back. Shot short from Mariuma. Can't get it back. Murakami launches into a 3. Mariama assist with that contact. He's pretty close to whether he was there in time and set.
That's been the the state of the game the entire way through, with all the fouls that have been collected. They haven't been ungainly fouls or kind of ugly fouls. They've just been a question of the defense really getting there in time, and really a lot of pressure coming in both sides' offense, really making the defense work for their advantage.
Garcia Kies goes 1 of 2. Spain doesn't even bother to send anybody down to the lane. Kozai, head fake, drives middle, goes left, can't get it to go. No look pass from Akashi. Mariuma. His shot does everything but fall. Got something on the floor there. Something's come off a chair. Referee identified that. Just stop play for a moment. Just 2.5 minutes remaining. Spain comfortably in front by 14 against the team that inflicted their only defeat thus far at this tournament. Japan beating them by 2. Friday afternoon. Garcia and Gelmo looks for that elusive assist, can't get it to go. Lavandera couldn't make the shot. And retains possession. Garcia Kies can't get it to go either. Mariuma. Urasawa back on the floor, and in fact Fujimoto back on the floor. Makes that shot. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Probably a strange substitution for some, but I'm sure there's some method in the strategy. Coach Koyoya. Garcia Kies. Skips the ball across. Vega with a nice bit of deception. Ball gets to Garcia Kies. Spanish bench counting down the clock. Here's the speedster. Kurosawa. He looks at 3. Nails it. Boom. Hang on. And back within single figures. Garcia and Gelmo. Finds the cutting Garcia Kiers. His 9th assist there. And calls an immediate timeout. Possibly, Campbell, an opportunity for Japan, they feel, to experiment with a late game situation where they're trailing by 8 or 9, and what can we do to try and junk things up to get back in the contest?
Yeah, and I think a good chance for them to test how they feel at the end of a game and kind of keep their quality alive. They probably know at this point it's within reach, but only just. But really testing how they finish games and knowing that they dropped a little bit in this game. They dropped their heads just a little bit and really hoping to shore that up and kind of finish strong. I think there's a lot of value in, regardless of the scoreline, finishing strong with a team, both for the scoreline and just morally. I think there's a standard to be set there, and international teams like to play to that standard.
Spanish huddle about to break. The Japanese are out on the floor. They'll have the ball. Just a couple of possessions remaining in theory, unless they decide to go the foul game. Advance the ball here, having called timeout. Both teams in the bonus at the moment. Spain by 11. Fujimoto. Back to Akashi, back to Fujimoto. Spins on a dime. Gets middle, no-look pass. And a lovely bounce pass. Fujimoto's pass was a thing of beauty, and so was Furusawa's. A tiny opening under the defender's arm. Shows the skill of Kawahara as well. He slipped that screen. Just made himself available in the perfect spot.
And it's a little bit late coming in, but the Japanese really showing their skill. They are dedicated to the way that they work, and their skill and technique is so finely tuned. So it's been a little bit of a poor showing from some of those skills earlier in the game, but really showing how they can finish and knowing that they've built on certain skills.
Kawahara makes the second. Yeah, that's a play that plenty of coaches will be clipping. It's an example of exquisite offense. Furusawa, in their attempts to press in the backcourt, gets a stray arm in. Garcia Kiers. I'll head down the floor. We can cancel the triple-double watch. Garcia and Gelmo is headed to the bench. He's had a pretty stellar evening. 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 11 points. In a tick under 30 minutes. Just a possession for Japan here. They might let this one go. Down 12. Fujimoto. Looks at 3. They don't want to foul. Spain will be able to run this thing out, but still pressuring. There's the turnover. Furusawa. Man of 1,000 fakes finds Fujimoto. He converts. Margin of 10. And still experimenting with this press. Endgame situation. I think they're going to back off now as time expires. Fantastic performance from Spain, but Japan able to use a mixture of rotations, and I don't think either head coach or program really disappointed with the result.
No, I think they both have a lot to be proud of in that game. Especially the Japanese, they looked weak at certain points, but were able to bring it back, and I think that's a big skill that they have, is the ability to kind of bring back their attitude, bring back their scoring. and just the Spanish being a little too strong and really finding options wherever they needed to. We spoke about a couple players, Garcia and Guillermo, having 11 points and shooting extremely well, and also Ortega, of course, being really the spearhead of this team throughout the games that they've played this weekend, having 16 points and really converting quite effectively.
Yeah, Ortega a little more of a playmaker role today. He was happy once the lead had been established to control tempo, I think, more than anything, and that helped Spain be able to sit on that lead. As we look at the raw statistics, Spain making 32 two-point field goals compared to Japan's just 21. Japan making up a little bit of that slack by converting 4 three-point attempts to Spain's single one in that category. Free throw attempts, fouls, rebounds. The Spanish, their rebounding advantage dissipated a little bit in that last quarter, but still holding a significant advantage. And Japan, probably the number at the bottom on the right is the one that Coach Koyoya will not be happy about. Some coaches might think 12 turnovers in a game is not too bad, but for the Japanese style of play that we've observed, that's a pretty high number.
Yeah, it's a high number, and it's especially with some of those turnovers being really unforced. There were a couple that make sense, and that the Spanish defense is incredibly strong. But there were a couple passes that really weren't too difficult and weren't too pressured, that just didn't go their way, just due to communication and players kind of turning away from the pass as it was coming at them. And I think that'll be a thing that they really look to recalibrate as they go into the next couple of days.
As we look at some highlights from the second half here, some lovely interchange of passing from Spain. It was arguably the player of the game, Garcia and Gelmo, hitting a three there. Did a bit of everything, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 11 points. Kozai really couldn't find his range tonight, or this morning, I should say. Murakami did some nice things. Garcia Kies, we see making a layup there, came on at the end and had an impact. Anyway, that's 10 games down, still 6 to go here in Canberra from the AIS Centre of Excellence. That's all on behalf of me and Campbell Fraser for this game, but we'll be back later on with the next 2 games in Sunday's slate. Until then, it's bye for now.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.